Hello everyone, we are going to review primitive data types today. There are 8 primitive data types and we are going to study each, including their range. Let's begin with the first one, is byte. And I also would like to run this data type in the main method, so that I am going to create a main method first. To do that, there's a shortcut. I can write main method. Now first I'm going to explain the byte, which is an integer. That means you have to assign a number only to the byte, and it has 1 byte memory used, and its range is -128 to 127. So you cannot assign any number greater than 127 to the byte. So it will give you mismatch when you try to run any number other than this range. It will give you mismatch type because your type is byte, and byte accepts number in between. For instance, let's type it byte num1, let's say 10, which is again valid number. It's in between 128, -128 and 127. So when we type this print method num1 and run it, we'll see 10 here. So as you see that the number has been printed. However, if you assign any number greater than 127, which is, let's say, 128, and when you run it now, as you see that it is mismatched. The type is mismatched. That means this byte data type doesn't match with this number. The number is not in the range between -128 to 128. Therefore, we couldn't print it. Another data type is the second one we call short. Short is also an integer. That means it's also a number. We have to assign a number, and it's 2 bytes. It's 2 bytes, and its range is greater than byte. So when you assign a short value num2, you can assign any number in between so that it will be printed. Otherwise, it will give us mismatched data type, because if you assign a number to the short data type, it must be in between. Let's give a number, any number we could give, and let's print it. I will say num2 and run it. As you see that we have the number. I will run it again. We have both numbers, 12 and 3599. 12 is coming from the byte, the first statement, and 3599 is the second statement. Now the third one, which is the most common, which is integer, which is we use ints. Another integer, it has 4 bytes memory used, and the range is way greater than short and bytes. It's a very big number. Two. It's in between these two numbers. It's a very big number, I know. So that's why it's used a lot. It's used very often. So let's declare int num3 is, we can type a greater number this time, because we know integer has a great range, as you see it here. So when you type it, num3, I will type it now and run it. As you see that we see these 3 numbers. There are first 3 types, and another integer which is long. Long is also an integer data type, primitive data type. Long has 8 bytes memory use, and its number is also greater than int. And let's run for the long. Num4, I will say any number, a big number. I will type it and run it. As you see that we got whole number. One more time, we have the 4 numbers, because those numbers, they are all in between the range of each data type, therefore they have been printed. So far we talk about primitive data types, and these 4 types are all integer. It means they are whole numbers. In next lesson we are going to talk about floating point, that means decimals that we can assign. It's float, double, and we'll also talk about characters, char, and boolean methods, boolean data types. Thank you so much.